Hey guys, Goldwing Explorer coming to you today from a local road, one of my local favorites. Some of you don't know, I live in Raleigh, and just north of Raleigh is a town called Wake Forest, and then just around there is Falls Lake. So just minutes from North Raleigh, you can get on a road called Purnell Road. That's the road I'm on right now. I've been riding this road for 28 years on different motorcycles. So it is October 28th and it is 75 degrees outside and it's almost 6 o'clock in the evening. This is my favorite time to ride, is right in the evening. I hope to be off this road before dark because of the deer. And obviously we're coming into hunting season, so the deer are starting to move. But anyway, I just want to talk today about the topic of the Goldwing being an old man's bike. I've been accused of that many times. I have a 2012 Goldwing, and mine is I bought this brand new, 6 years ago, a little over 6 years ago, and I was 45 when I bought it, and I guess technically still an old man. But anyway, I wish I had found this bike when I was 25. I've ridden a slew of motorcycles, and Goldwing is by far my favorite, for sure. It's got it's one of the best handling bikes that I've ever ridden. Not to mention it's smooth and luxurious and comfortable, and everybody knows all that. Now obviously it's not going to compare to a crotch rocket when it comes to maneuverability and speed and things like that, but it is certainly a nimble bike considering its size. My bike is a little bit heavier. It weighs about 930 pounds, and basically from about 2001 to about 2015 the bikes were really fat and big, and I like that. That's just me. I love a big heavy bike, but this one's got a really low center of gravity, and I've been on the Dragon a bazillion times with this thing, and so I go up to the Blue Ridge Parkway and on the Dragon quite a bit. And but anyway, when somebody says that's an old man's bike, it's usually a young guy in a crotch rocket. And I love to tell the story about this one. I was at Scooters one time, and this young guy said that to me. Oh, that's an old man's bike, and he was riding I think he was riding a CBR RR 900, something really fast. And you know, you've seen the girls on the backs of those bikes, and they're hanging on for dear life. And so when he started talking old man stuff, I said, you know what, you young man, I said, if your girl ever got on the back of my Goldwing, you'd never get her back. And he smiled, she smiled, and then she actually asked if she could sit on it. And he said, no, she can't sit on the bike. No, I don't want her to sit on somebody else's bike. And I was like, yeah, because you know damn well I'm right. So I kind of thought that was funny. It would be interesting to see if he owns a Goldwing today. I'll bet he does. That was about 5 or 6 years ago when I first got the bike. So anyway, but in reference to an old man's bike, if you look at the new 2018, 2019 Goldwings, they're amazing. I have not ridden one yet, but I've talked to several people who have. They're about 95 pounds lighter. They've still got the 1800cc engine, and it's a little bit more beefed up. But obviously you've got 95 pounds less weight, so it's clearly going to be faster just on that. And then you add to that, it's narrower. It doesn't have quite the big bags and all the heaviness that goes into the older wings like mine. And so I think they're clearly trying to cater to that younger crowd. And I'd love to, again, I would love to have found my Goldwing when I was 25. So if you're younger, if you're in your 20s or even early 30s and you're looking for a bike, and you know, I think all of us go through that phase where we got to get on the crotch rocket and just see how fast we can go. And I did that for a while, and it was fun. But again, I like to do a lot of miles. So I have my big V-twin, my Yamaha Raider, for when I just want to buzz around and look cool, and that's got its place. I love riding that bike to Scooters. It's got the LED lights on it and stuff. It's really kind of a neat bike. But if I'm really going to go out and ride, there's no comparison to the Goldwing in every area. I mean, obviously it's comfortable, but it's got a lot of pep too. It's nimble. Like I said, I'm riding one of the best rides in Wake County right now. And Purnell Road, if you haven't had a chance to get up here, it's just minutes north of Wake Forest. And I'm sure if you've had a motorcycle for more than a year, you've heard about this road. And again, us old guys, we've been riding this road for a long time, and we just love it. And but anyway, the point being is the Goldwing, it's kind of like the old days when you heard the slogan about Oldsmobile, this is not your daddy's Oldsmobile. Well, this is certainly not your daddy's Goldwing. I think in the 80s when we had the Aspencade and the, you know, when the Goldwings first started to get more bagger-like, and they started to become more of a touring bike. That's when they started to get the reputation that it was an old man's bike. But I think once you ride it, you realize how nimble this bike really is. And like I said, I haven't been on. Again, I put crotch rockets in their own classification. That's a different animal. But if you're on any kind of cruiser or touring bike, well, BMW might be a pretty darn close comparison. BMW makes a really good touring bike. It's just not big enough for me. I think the biggest one I've seen, the biggest BMW that I know of, I think only weighs about 700 pounds. And again, I really like the big, meaty, heavy bikes. It's comfortable for my passenger, and so when I get on the road and really want to take a long road trip, there's just no beating a Goldwing. But at the same time, it's peppy enough and handles well enough that if you're a young guy and you want some performance, well, you can have that too. So don't discount the Goldwing if you're a younger rider. Certainly not a beginner's bike. Do not try to get on a Goldwing if it's your first bike. I highly recommend working your way up. So regardless of how much money you have, there's a couple deer out there. Regardless of how much money you have, don't start on a Goldwing. It's just not a beginner's bike because it is so heavy. And part of it is not so much the acceleration, but the stopping. It's such a big bike that you really have to allow a lot of room between you and the car in front of you or the bike in front of you until you really get the hang of stopping this thing, because it is a heavy bike. But again, you see me riding. I'm riding Purnell Road, which is legendary for the Wake County area. This is one of the best motorcycle roads around. And just cruising along. I'm cruising along between 50 and 55. It's a 45 zone. Shh, don't tell anyone. So, but anyway, it's just so easy. I'm not even paying attention to the speedometer. I'm just kind of cruising, not speeding to speed. I'm just kind of cruising. But it's just such a nice handling bike. Anyway, that's about all I have for today. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my ride. I hope you guys will get out here and ride this road if you're in the North Carolina area. Again, the mountains are clearly the best riding, but there are a lot of good roads between, well, really the whole state of North Carolina. But, you get down near Wilmington, it's a little flat. But basically from about Wilson west, you start getting into the sand hills and some lakes and a lot of good curvy roads. And if you enjoy riding like I do, try this road out. You'll really love it. Look at the colors. Is this spectacular or what? This is just fantastic. So the sun's starting to go down, so I lost the visor. So anyway, again, I'm 55, just tooling right along, loving one of my favorite local roads. So Goldwing Explorer coming to you. Remember to subscribe to my page. I got more videos coming, and I'll keep you updated. Ride safe, guys.